I'm Mark Webster. He is, of course, Mark Baxter. This is, of course, Clobbered. Welcome back again for another session of, well, two big men talking like two small children about clothing.
Yeah, that sums it up. Yeah.
That's roughly
about right,
what we're doing.
isn't it?
And, of course, thank you everyone who's joined us on social media. Please feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because the more of you do, the more of this will be. I don't know if that's a good thing. Yeah, it will be. I'm happy.
You're happy.
Bax, want to show a couple of pictures?
Yes, sir.
This is inspiring us. This has come from the world of sport of recent days. There's this one to start with, which is the touchline at Tottenham.
Yes.
And this other one, I need to show you, is pre-Grand Prix.
Yes.
Now,
I noticed that one.
What
I
they
noticed
are,
both from you.
Exactly. So we got Son on the touchline at Tottenham.
Sonny.
And he's wearing a pair of, let's be brutally honest with you, half a representation of the old 1970s side pocket Baggy.
Yeah.
Whereas Lewis Hamilton dressed, I would say, impeccably in Dior, like the look, has kind of gone the full Oxford bag. So welcome to an episode called Massive Strides.
What else?
The wide-legged trouser is something that you and I and many people would have grown up with. It's back. I guess what will end up in conversation is, do we go there again? But in terms of the fact that it is it's a thing of our youth.
Yeah,
it's a shape of our youth. When you see two young kids wearing it, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking, where'd you get those? And can you take them back? No, I wasn't massively impressed. I mean, you couldn't avoid Sonny on the touchline. The jacket and the strides. I mean, you got a close-up on the strides, as you say, sort of combat trouser type of look. I was trying to work out, I mean, I could have Googled, I could have found out, where'd you get them, son? But obviously, that for me, footballers with loads of money, that's what they end up doing. They end up wearing stuff that's very statement and very...
We're kind of guessing that he hasn't necessarily said, I definitely need a wide leg trouser now. It's because they're there.
I would say the box turned up in the dressing room before the kick-off, and it's help yourself, chaps. Right. It's all come from these company that we don't know. But I mean, it wasn't...
But Lewis has gone for it.
Lewis, I think, is more deliberate. He's into that sort of baggy, you know, over large. I've seen that look quite a lot on in the fashion press over the years. Is that over large clobber thing, which is it fills me with the horrors, if I'm completely honest.
Right.
Because it reminds me of the 70s, and I was resisting it in the 70s even then. But where else could you go? You were struggling to buy anything else. But now. But as we know, it's cyclical. It all goes round and round. So
I did not resist that. And the reason I say that is because we're literally in the 100th year anniversary of what was called, even by us lot from council schools, the Oxford bag.
Oh, they were.
And this is the guy wearing them. Now,
he's like got a parachute on, basically.
They are incredible. Now, the great thing about this, the reason I mention this point is that it is said, it's fabled, that in 1924, the suave young men who went to Oxbridge were told that +4s were not de rigueur.
That's right. I read this.
In and around the campus. I think, do they call that in England?
The grounds.
I left school in
the ground. I never went to Oxford.
So, anyway... At university, they weren't
surprisingly enough.
So apparently, this was the rebel trouser.
Yeah.
So what you're seeing here, this is my favourite shot ever, because this man looks like, as he's walking down the street, if a bit of a gust of wind gets up, he's Mary Poppins. He's out. He's
go fly the kites. He's away. He's away.
Good guy.
He's gone. Good night.
He's done.
Good night, sir.
There's a number that says, at one point, the trousers were a 22-inch bottom. They ended up as a 44-inch bottom. They were a statement stride. And I think that's why I like them.
Did I read correctly that you can wear your +4s under your trouser I think they were so white. That was the idea.
I think you could wear your wife and 2 kids. I don't know, and perhaps even a small family car. There's no two ways about it. It's a flamboyant look. That's why they're back again.
They will be called a pair of Rascals where I'm from. They're a pair of a rascal look. Yeah. It's a little bit over the top, and you don't care. You're going for it.
Excuse me. So did you avoid that? Because of course, what you have to account here is baggy trousers is one thing. I know to in my head to detail the ones that I aspire to. The big boys out at secondary school, particularly. There was one particular fella had a brown pair, and he had the 2 pleats at the front and the little money pocket.
Yeah.
Now he clearly
pocket or
some money had gone into those, and I so wanted them. I was 12, 13, he's 15, 16, worlds apart. But the baggy, you can't even.
They were very hard to avoid in our youth. I mean, 72-3, very hard to avoid. I don't remember rushing to the shops to buy them, but obviously you'd have ended up in a pair of what we call Lionels. The old Lionel Blairs. You'd have had a pair of them. I remember my mum, who was a bit of a seamstress, making us a pair of 2-in-1s, if you like a pair of trousers, one colour, and then a V at the knee, and then the inset of another bit of cloth that flowed out.
That's a loon, isn't it?
Well, it was going that way. I mean, I think I should have been. Esther Ransons had come around my house and taken me away because I shouldn't be allowed to be wearing them.
I don't know how you got out of the house.
But I do remember. I just didn't remember 2 different colours going on and a big pair of clumpy old boots at the bottom. But it was a 6 month, a year, if you like, and then we all bailed out. I mean, it gives me the horrors looking at the photographs, but look, it was very hard to avoid.
There is a big part of this where you and I became teenagers. We moved on, especially with
the
soul
teenagers. Some would say
in so many ways, and none of the good ones. But there was a period when I ended up at Blues and Soul magazine as a journalist, and I ended up there as part of that southern soul boy world. And we all know where our trousers went. They narrowed. When I was working there, the big deal was, and I was running that, and the advertising was taking an advert for a company called Spencer's Trousers. Yeah. And Spencer's did these.
Yeah.
And these are amazing. But of course, their target audience was the Northern Soul crowd.
I'm about to say, I remember seeing a pair of those, or very similar to that. I went on a school trip to the Imperial War Museum. Group of South London guys out of the Old Kent Road, and we run into a load of Northern guys.
Wow.
I'm gonna say Manchester. I don't really know, but the difference in the clobber was unbelievable. We're like giving it a little bit of the Fred Perry, a little bit of the very early moddy type of.
So a slimmer silhouette.
A slimmer silhouette, and these guys were having large trousers and loving it, and the big waistbands, and we all looked at each other thinking, "There's a divide here.
Yeah,
there's a massive divide here," and it was like you're way ahead, or we're miles in front of you. We couldn't really work out, but I think we were ahead. But I can remember like they were like dark green, 3-button waster.
Yeah.
And we were all laughing at the geezer. We're all going, "Oh, have a word with yourself. We're all over here now." But I do remember seeing, and of course, years later, Northern Soul, Wigan Casino, all that stuff, you sort of got it.
But see, that was the point, I think.
We didn't know about it at the time, though.
No, exactly.
We had no idea.
No, but there's the thing, is that I totally agree. I was a soul boy snob, I knew what my southern looked like. Yeah. I had short hair. I had the wine shirt. I had the narrow trousers. Their take, the Northern take, was very much like the 70s look that you might use now in fancy dress. But man alive, they meant it.
No, they were all in, mate.
Like those posh boys from Oxford in 1924, it was flamboyant. So for their dancing, it looks amazing.
When you see the footage and they're doing the spins and the trousers, giving it loads of that, you get it.
You get the point.
But when you're like 13-year-old from Old Kent Road, you're not quite sure of any of that. But I've seen it later on. You're thinking, "Oh, I get it now." But but I do remember that moment in time, very, very strongly.
The thing about it is, and I agree on many levels, but I had a go at the wide leg trouser for many years after because they kept coming back.
In your later years?
In my clubbing years.
Oh, in your clubbing years, go on.
Because in the mid-'80s, there was a shop that opened in Beak Street called D-Mob.
Yeah, I remember that shop well.
And as far as I understand now, the guy who was fundamentally behind D-Mob, and as far as I know, his surname's Brown. I think he goes out as Mr. Brown. But if you were kind of track what he's doing down, he is the fella who's behind the designs of Old Town. Now, Old Town is this brilliant range, which is a kind of bespoke range that they're based down in Norfolk, and it is vintage, old-fashioned, turn of the century into the early teens.
I've seen it.
So that's kind of where he's gone. But D-Mob then, so much of what worked for them, Mrs. Webster loved it in there because they did these fantastic African print, like material from Africa that were turned into big dresses and that kind of thing. Loads of that look. But for the lads, they were doing little short bomber jacket style things.
Yes.
And baggies.
Yeah.
And they basically kind of redid
the checkerboard stripe across the bomber jacket, didn't
That's
they? That
right.
was very famous for that, yeah.
But they were doing wide-legged strides.
Right,
and I went straight back to them because, of course, they didn't exist anymore. And so they were a bit of a staple.
Yeah, they were a thing, weren't they?
D-Mob were in the heart of London. So basically, it was a London clubbers look there for a while, and it worked.
Are you going to throw the pegs in here as well? Are you mentioning pegs?
No, pegs is another story.
Different story,
because, of course, they're a wider... Because they're not wide.
They were down, they were tapered, weren't they?
They're not wide. They are not wide.
At one point they're wide, but I'll rewind out of that.
That's where they all go. They're wide at the top.
Yeah.
But they end up somewhere else, don't they?
It's very niche, this game, doesn't it? It's very niche. This is
got to be. Yeah. That's the way the conversation was.
Niche or quiche?
I wouldn't mind. From your point of view,
yes,
and I don't hate it, is this boils that down to the fact, okay, we've talked about Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
We've talked about Sonny wearing them on the touchline.
Yeah.
There's kids wearing massive baggy jeans at the moment.
Yeah.
They're absolutely, and some outrageous ones. For me, that's good, because that's the point. They're outrageous. They're making people going, why?
Why have you got them on there?
And the answer to that is because you don't like them.
Because we can. Yeah, no, fair enough. I mean, I keep going back to what I said earlier. This stuff goes round and round and round.
Yeah.
Slightly changed when it comes around again, but you can draw reference from what you see to what you wore back in the day or what you've seen. I mean, like you said earlier, 1924, 100 years ago, and that's a very extreme Oxford bag, very extreme look. But it is still that wide leg trouser. There's elements of that history now in 2024.
And it's 100 years on, and they're making the same point.
Yeah.
Look at me.
Yeah.
I don't care what you think.
If you're going to stare,
that's great.
If you're going to stare, give them something to stare at.
Perfect. And I'll kind of finish on that note because I still sort of have a pair. And this is them.
They're a nice nickname for that colour.
They're a parallel. And here we go. Let me hold them up like that.
They're very
but they're not old.
They're not old.
And I'll tell you what these are. They're a dead breed. Mm-hmm. I got these an outlet shop from the Ralph Lauren outlet shop.
Oh my word!
They are the linesman's trousers from Wimbledon.
Oh, I say!
And in the outlet shop, he did the jackets, he did the shirts, and he did the strides. And when I went in, and they were like £8, and they're parallels. But when you've got them on, they look like good old fashioned. The Lewis Hamilton-esque.
Yes.
When I've got them
I'm thinking that. Looking
they sit on the shoe. They've got the turn up. They're wide. There's a load of material. All the stuff you hate.
Yeah.
But they do that job.
I admire the styling, but it's just not for me. But I get the styling. I get the history. Great Gatsby that we've been in before.
Yes, there you go.
I get all that 1930s references, but it's just I would struggle with that.
I must say as well, apart from them, which of course seasonally I can't wear them no more. They were for the summer.
They're that colour.
Will I go back to? Will I wear a pair of wide leg trousers? Because my thing is, if I buy a pair now, how long are they going to last as a thing? Well, they have legs.
I think as you get an older chap, I don't think it matters so much.
No,
wear what you want to wear. Take the hits.
Listen, hopefully, one of our more sort of like reasonably priced and accessible designer companies will come up with a pair of trousers that fit there.
I'm thinking that's a colour, though. It's a hard colour to carry off that, especially in our company.
You want to see me?
Well, I like to see you. I mean, you in them trousers with your cricket boots on.
Oh,
We're laughing.
I am Great Gatsby meets the Wigan Casino. Do not worry about that.
Hey.
Lewis Hamilton will be coming around going, I need a pair of them.
Out on the floor.
And
Out on the floor.
sharpish. And sharpish. Right, before we go, new bits. Over to you first, sir.
Well, now listen. I'm going socks. Well, not any sock. This is a pair of Rascals.
Hold the phone.
These are a
That's
pair
not
of,
socks. It's too much.
It's a pair of above the calf socks.
Good Lord.
I mean, obviously Christmas is coming. All gentlemen like a sock at Christmas, and these.
Do they like them up to their knees?
Can you see those figures? I've recently wore these. I don't know whether I'm getting old, but above the calf, nice bit of support. I don't know what that is.
Really?
Very, very comfortable. I really noticeably comfortable. So I'm going with these. These are at a company called Drake's, which is in Savile Row, and it's a company been going since around 1970, 75, mainly known for ties and scarves and handkerchiefs, but now been expanded to all sorts of outerwear. On the luxury side of the price range, but I have to say, I wore these, thinking, blimey, that's my missus said, Pippi Longstocking. That's what she said. And I thought, yeah, but I'll tell you what, very, very comfortable. So
you don't need sock suspenders with them.
No, they stayed. They went nowhere. They stayed up. They stayed up above the nicely Jack Greenish type calf.
Superb.
They were there.
And
very comfortable.
Really, they work like that. They look beautiful.
I've got to say, they're very, very. I mean, that's why I'm giving a bit of a G. Very comfortable.
Well, that's what a man wants from a sock.
As we move into that era,
needs from a sock.
Part 3 of our lives. You need a nice, comfortable sock.
Right. My new bit.
Yes.
One of the great phenomena of television, Mr. Paul Whitehouse,
absolutely.
Mr. Bob Mortimer, gone fishing.
Which we've been compared with. I don't know if you saw it. We've actually been compared.
Oh, we the Mortimer
we're sort of in the basement type, alternatives. No water involved. No fish. No rod
or fish.
We've been
hurt in the making.
Two blokes in the basement. We have been mentioning that. I haven't seen it. I thought that.
Here I go. This is them for the new series. Now, Bob, we know.
That's a tip for you.
Bob's got the classic kind of
that's a
canvassy.
Stetson. It's a Stetson hat. Have you know that? It's a Stetson hat.
That's his own one.
It's a proper Stetson.
But
available at various outlets.
Paul Whitehouse has moved on.
Yes.
And he's added to his ensemble.
Nice, yeah.
This. Now, this is amazing. It's by Das Marker. Now, what I love about this, you see Mr. Whitehouse wears it.
He does.
Snap brim.
He does. Yeah, he does a bit of trim.
He goes all Sinatra, D. Martin on it.
Yeah.
I personally favour it like this.
And me.
I think this is beautiful. It's got that straw look, but it's robust, of course. It's made apparently by the bloke who used to did some Kangol work as well.
Well, there we are. We like Kangol.
Over in New York.
We like a bit of Kangol.
And this is classic, almost 1960s New
York. I like it.
Style, isn't it?
I mean, it's got like a nice little ravine there for your sandwiches.
Exactly.
I like that. I like it.
And you can have some goldfish swimming around here. If you think fishing.
No, I like the styling. I like the idea of that. But yeah.
So that is Das Marker. That is the hat that Paul Whitehouse is currently wearing on the series of Gone Fishing. He's going that way.
We're not necessarily
I kind of love it.
We like that way, yeah. The classic pork pie.
You take
the pork pie stingy brim type.
It's a beautiful book. Beautiful thing. There you go. Anyway, that's us. That's Clobbered. Wear your wide strides if you like. He don't wanna, I'm for it.